Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and a brand new video. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing to the channel for all the Pokemon TCG content. If you can drop a like and a comment on this video, it makes a massive difference. Let me know what you think about it all. And obviously I'll comment back to every single person like I always do. But for those of you that don't know, although most of you that watch this video will know, it is the Pokemon World Championships at the moment. And it's over in Hawaii. Absolutely massive event. And things like this always bring out the worst in people. So there are two big sort of talking points from the World Championships. The first is a player caught cheating during his match, caught in 4K. He has subsequently been disqualified, which is good. He should be disqualified. And people scalping the Pokemon Center shop. I was lucky enough to get tickets for the Pokemon Center shop in the UK during the European Championships. And it was the same problem there. People scalping. It brings out the worst in people. Things like this always bring out the worst in people. I'll explain my experience at Pokemon Center in a bit. But for now, we're going to roll the clip of the guy cheating. Have to look carefully. Check it out. Roll the clip. Did you see it? No? Okay, let's zoom in and show you guys exactly what he does. Hopefully that time you did see it, but basically he took a card out of his discard pile and slips it into his left hand and hides it. He waits till his opponent isn't looking and then slides it into his hand so he's got access to that card again, which is absolutely disgusting. Now, this tournament in the Worlds has a combined prize pool of $2 million, which is a huge amount of money. Huge amount of money. The winner of the TCG element, I believe, gets about $50,000, with everyone else getting prizes for placement. I think it's up to top 16, there might be top 8. Either way, it's bad enough that you would cheat at the Pokemon World Championships. Unlucky for you, you got caught because someone was recording it. But this guy is playing on a Professor playmat, which basically means he is one of those people that basically helps to enforce the rules at Pokemon TCG events. So this is a guy who is supposed to enforce the rules, breaking the rules. It is absolutely disgusting. But it does beg the question. There are huge amounts of games happening and matches happening at one time. How many people have cheated? Because I'm fairly certain it ain't just going to be this guy that's basically gone out of his way to try and scam everybody. Which is... I don't even know what to say realistically because it really isn't that deep. It's a Pokemon tournament. Yes, the prize money fantastic, but the prize money should be secondary to you. Just getting there in the first place was incredible. Moving on from that, we have another big problem, and that is with scalpers, basically. Now, I am a person who trades with Pokemon cards. I will buy up people's collections when they're selling them if they want to sell them on for profit. I pick cards up when they're low in the hope that they rise, all that sort of stuff. But what I won't do is pick up absolute tons of this stuff. I will not do it. There's nothing wrong with picking up, let's say, for example, booster boxes come out. There is nothing wrong with picking up 10 booster boxes and putting that by. They've got a huge amount of supply. There's no issue. No qualms with that. Everyone has access to it. No problem. Fine. At the World Championships and at the European Championships that happened as well, they set up, obviously, the World Championships Pokemon Center, and it has basically items you can only get, as it sits anyway right now. They might go online, but you can only get basically from the World Championships. Basically, people have been buying up tons of them to resell on, okay? Now, I've seen people blaming the Pokemon company for this. You can't always just blame the people that put on the event and whatnot. You have to rely upon the respect, I guess, and the decency of common people. When I went to the Pokemon Center, the EUIC, I bought stuff that I wanted. There's my Melodic there, right there. I bought stuff that I wanted, but I refused to buy loads and loads of stuff for people that asked for it, loads of stuff that people couldn't get hold of, because I wanted to make sure that everybody who had got tickets, who had stood in that queue all day, that had travelled to it, had the opportunity to get what they needed and what they wanted. So I wouldn't do that. But I'm going to show you some bits on Twitter to show you what people are doing. It's wild to me that people are doing this. But yeah, let's go on to Twitter. So just a side note as well, the guy that cheated actually got his own Dexerto article. I can link it down below for you guys. but you know you've done something wrong or pissed off the community when Dexerto pick it up and are willing to write an article about it. Also, to confirm, he did get DQ'd. He got disqualified from the tournament, which is the most important thing. Hopefully he's banned from future tournaments. He shouldn't be allowed near a tournament again, especially because he's a professor. I can't see a reason why you'd ever allow him back. But let's talk scalping. This guy here basically posted this, and it got a huge amount of backlash from people. Because obviously he's brought up multiples of everything, loads and loads and loads. Now, people will argue that you might pick up loads of the same item for whatever reason because you're collecting it. It's nonsense. You don't need more than one deck box realistically. And he actually admitted that some of it was going to be resold. Now, my big problem with this is there is no problem trading or investing in Pokemon to make some money. I think unless you're a Pokemon collector, I don't really understand why you'd be in the space. But for me, I'll go and buy a few of one card when it gets low enough to grade it, hopefully make some profit to buy cards to complete sets. Doing this is a dick move because it means that people that go all the way to Hawaii cannot get what they want. They physically cannot get what they want. People are blaming Pokemon Center, saying that there's they should have put betting limits in, which will look at this guy made a statement to explain what he's saying. I don't personally believe in that. I think that you shouldn't need to put limits in. People should just not be dicks. Obviously, that's thinking too much of people. But this guy will basically read through his statement, basically. Felt like after seeing some threats regarding my haul post, which, by the way, is not okay. Threats is not ever acceptable for something like this. It's Pokemon, again, like, pull yourself together. He wanted to address a few things. He did not break any limits. From what I recall, all deck boxes were limit 5, sleeves limit 5, plushies limit 1, and playmats limit 1. I followed the guidelines of what Pokemon had in place. Even at the moment, I thought it was quite absurd that the limit was 5 since previous events was 2. So for that point there, relevant. If you're following the guidelines, you're still being a dick. It doesn't make a difference if you're following the guidelines. Especially more so because you see the limit as being absurd. And believe that it was 2 before. If you think it's absurd, then I don't really get why you've pushed it to the limit, essentially. Most of the deck boxes and sleeves are being brought back to my local crew. To be fully transparent, I am asking them for slightly above retail just to recoup some costs of time spent and luggage fees. I would never sell them to my local at egregious prices. Again, you're going to have to take his word for that, but I don't buy it personally. I can't see how you're a little bit above for this stuff is... I highly doubt it. Scalpers going to scalp and they don't just go a little bit above. There were posts regarding my Verbank sales for the ukulele and skateboard. To be fully transparent, my goal was to resell the ukulele, so he's gone in there with the aim of reselling a ukulele, and maybe keep the skateboard, but if a good offer is presented to me, why wouldn't I take it? I wanted to recoup some costs of the trip. A lot of people talk about this when it comes to going to these events, recouping the costs to get some money back and whatnot. Bluntly, if you can't afford the trip or if it's going to leave you less well off, don't go. But if you're going to go and you can afford it, and fine, then that's still not a justifiable reason to recoup costs of your trip. Like, just enjoy being there. You've paid, you're going to the trip. A lot of people like to be there that can't afford it, can't be there. Nothing I can say will please everyone, but what matters to me is that I'm getting something from my friends who aren't able to make it. Again, if you were doing that at retail cost, I'd understand it, but you're not. You charge them more money, so that's that. It's a bit upsetting knowing the negative traction this got, but I think the final straw for me are these physical threats, 100%. I don't mind the criticism of me or the policy at PC. No, again, don't try and use PC and Pokemon Center as an excuse for why you scalped. You scalped because you're a scalper and you're a bit of a dick, that's why. I'd like to enjoy my trip without fear of being harmed. My friends have reached out, check on me, thank you, don't worry, I'm all good. It's never okay to threaten him, but again, don't hide behind Pokemon Center. Now, the reason why this is so bad, in my opinion, is this was the state that the Pokemon Center was in once people had basically finished ransacking it. Nothing available. I think there were some pens, people said, and a few of the coins. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I have a problem there with maybe stock levels. The same thing happened at the Pokemon European Championships, but let's be real. Again, this wouldn't have happened if people weren't scalping. They generally tend to have enough stock to cover everyone that's coming. They didn't. Some of the items are number limited though, like the skateboards are number limited. There's only a certain amount of I think the ukuleles as well, there's only a certain amount of those. So they obviously can't make sure that everyone gets one because that defeats the object of them being number limited. But having said that, again, this is the reason what happened. And then there's this guy as well. Don't ask me how much I spent. Looks less bad because I looked through this picture and I can see he's got a skateboard, he's got a ukulele, got a few deck boxes. Again, you're probably reselling those. We're never going to know. But there doesn't seem to be too many duplicates here. So there is the potential that this was just him buying for himself. Whether I buy that or not, I don't know. Again, that's a lot of stuff randomly from Pokemon Worlds that you're bringing home to stick on your shelf. I don't know, man. Just as a side note as well, the skateboards are $350 each, and the ukulele, I believe, was $60. Now, the reason why this is a problem is the more people scalp, the more people then follow and scalp and whatnot, and use it as a way to make money in the way it brings in other people that don't really care about Pokemon. They just see it as a way to make money. And I get it. Money makes the world go round. I understand that there is a supply and demand situation, and people who have the money are going to engage with that to a degree. I just think there's times to do it and there's times you don't do it. And to me, these guys just are the worst of the community, in my opinion. And to make it even worse, this guy, Cal, said the 6 World Championships he's attended, the absolutely worst Pokemon Center experience I've had. Day 1 and half the store is sold out. There are people sitting on the ground reselling in the store. So when I was at the European Championships, you had lots of people just sitting there, and what they were doing was grabbing as much as they possibly could, throwing it into baskets that they had, and then they were literally just dashing the stuff they didn't want on the floor, literally leaving it on the floor. Like, so other people had to clear it up. I honestly had to stop myself from saying something to so many people. But this is even worse. People are buying the stuff, going and sitting in the Pokemon Center, waiting for people to realize that there's none of these left, and then saying to them, well, I'll sell you one above retail. Here you go if you want it. I cannot fathom how that is even a thing. How you have the brass neck to go and do that. Like, that is next level bad. I don't understand it. And that's where the Pokemon company really do need to step up, because that shouldn't be happening. If you're seeing people do that in your stores, then you really should in the store. You should be pushing them out and saying, no, sorry, that's not a thing. I don't know who would have the brass neck to resell in the shop, but that is wild to me. Fair play for your bravery, because I think that's going to go down poorly with a lot of people. I want to point out the reason why it angers so many people. The ukulele was selling for $60 in the store. It's being listed up for over £300 UK now, so obviously that's even more dollars. There are people that would want that ukulele. I would have no interest in that ukulele. I don't play the ukulele. I don't care about musical instruments. I couldn't care less about that. I get it might be a cool design, but it's not something that would interest me. If I went to Pokemon Center and there was one available, I wouldn't buy it because I don't want it. You can see why people are frustrated, because people that do want that ukulele are now going to have to pay, probably by the time it gets to it, nearly 10 times the value of what it was selling for in the store, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. And that's the problem. That's the issue. Even the deck boxes, they sell for a huge amount more from World Championships. There are some big Pokemon YouTubers that go out and scalp. They talk about in their videos and no one really criticizes them. I've seen it with my own eyes. When I was at the Pokemon European Championships, I watched some of the UK content creators buying like a ton of the deck boxes and stuff like that, and putting them by basically, and they're outside outwardly talking about how they're going to take it to the next show they go to, the next vendor show, and sell them there for an inflated price. And again, they use the same excuse, which was, oh, well, I've got to cover the cost of my trip here. No, you don't have to cover the cost of your trip here. You're choosing to go to a Pokemon Center and buy stuff. Your trip was the tube or the train, because you probably live in London or you live somewhere in the UK. It's not really that expensive compared to maybe flying to Hawaii, for example. But let me know what you think down below. Cheater's going to cheat. Scalper's going to scalp. It's disgusting to me, in my opinion, but this is the way life is right now. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, by all means, also say the same down below. It's not a problem to me. I don't mind people disagreeing with my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But that's the end of the video. Don't forget, like, subscribe. It makes a massive, massive difference to the channel. But for now, I'm out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.